Hi Virgo. Welcome to your December reading. So first off, before we start, everything's going to be fine. Take a deep breath. Everything's going to be fine. You're starting a new cycle. I would like to call it the self cycle. It's been a while since you've spent some real time by yourself. It's been a while since you've had to rebuild. It's been a while since you took a look at the foundation, kicked the tires, whatever metaphor works for you. Past few weeks, you may have felt like everything was falling down around you. I'm not denying it. But the point is that now you get to rebuild. And you get to rebuild in a way that's so much sweeter than what you've been through. So December 17th and the 19th, you have Jupiter and Saturn moving into Aquarius. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. No, that's not what's going to happen. This is just how you're feeling. Sometimes to rebuild something, you have to tear it all the way down. It is no fun. Ask anyone you know that builds houses to try to fix something that's already been put up in a shoddy way. That's not what I'm saying was going on in your life. I'm just saying the discontent, the lack of inspiration, mainly at work, but also in relationships. It was like trying to patch up something you didn't build, because if you had built it, you would have built it perfectly. So it had to come down. Now, the way it happened, the circumstances may not be to your liking, and I understand that. But that is no reason to feel and think that now you get left out in the cold emotionally or financially. You don't. It's just a time to rebuild. So, 17th and 19th, Saturn and Jupiter move into Aquarius, and they give you all the building blocks you need to start again, but this time in a much more fulfilling, much more inspiring work life or partnership or relationship. But it's going to take some time. It's going to be slow moving, and you are at your most Virgo. You are critical. You have such a crazy eye for detail. You are methodical. And there are no corners that can be cut around you. And it makes sense because, like I said, you're rebuilding a foundation. A new cycle that you get to build however you want. This also includes being really honest with your partner, if you have one, about what your responsibilities should be. They're not clearly defined enough. I feel sorry for anyone around you who expects you to be nice in December. I prefer when you're not nice because I think it's funny. But most people's feelings are very easily hurt. So they can't appreciate the wit, the sarcasm, the humor that comes with your nitpicking. I love it. But you may hurt some feelings, and that's fine. Because again, everything has to be cleared away and made level and perfect so each brick can be put down perfectly so the life you build now is exactly the way you want it to be. Page of Cups, Knight of Cups, Three of Wands. This also means that in general, no matter how much anyone is trying, whether you're single or in a relationship, you just don't have any time for love. You're like, get away from me, please. Like, this is about my life. This is about my identity. I don't have time to be playing house. I don't want to. Like, please leave me alone. Those of you who are in relationships, people aren't going to take that very well unless they really love you and they really know you. Those of you who are single, that'll definitely deter the right people, the wrong people. The right people will wait until next year, as they should. Let's see, what else do my notes say here? You're the most Virgo that you will have been all year in December. Again, to me, that's very exciting. I love waiting for that part of you to come out. Those of you who are worried about money, you feel like someone has either taken from you or like you gave a lot and they took and then they didn't give anything back, that's okay. The Queen of Pentacles here tells you it doesn't lessen you at all. You are so generous of spirit. You have so much the earth does not want. So they took. So they didn't give back. The trick is to disallow them access to you, not to get in your feelings and get upset about it. Oh, and also you really want to tell them off. And can I just be there when you do it? Because again, I find it very entertaining. What else do I have written here? You know, one of the things about being in a partnership or a relationship of any kind is figuring out who does what and how much. And that is a conversation that you need to have, and you need to have it very specifically, right? Like, okay, I'm going to do this, you're going to do this, I'm going to do this, you're going to do this. All of the things I'm mentioning are pretty difficult. So if you start running from the difficult, if you go bury your head in the sand, it's not going to work. By the same token, though, you need a lot of alone time, but you need alone productive time. Not, having salacious affairs at work, not cheating on your partner, not gossiping, not causing drama. You need actual time to get things done. There's a lunar eclipse in a few days in November, and there is a solar eclipse on December 14th in Sagittarius. So this axis is activated. What does that mean for you? It means that you get a slew of opportunities to bring your inspiration into reality. If you know any Gemini that you're close to, then you know that we have the ability to think so far outside of the box that sometimes it scares Virgo. If you have Sagittarian friends, then you know that if Gemini scares you with their forward thinking, then Sagittarius is the one that terrifies you because they can actually make it real. You have access to both those abilities while these eclipses are happening and in the interim in between. So I suggest from about the end of November till December 14th, you focus on alone time, using that alone time to either work on your career, find a job, find a new job. Really sit down and be honest with yourself and write out what you would like to do most. Not what job you think you can get, not what partnership you think you can get into, not what goals you can meet, but if you could do anything, what would you do? Because what it's going to do is it's going to show you that the wildest thing you can dream up, it's actually pretty accessible to you. No matter how much you feel right now, the Tower, the Five of Pentacles, what have I done with my life? What's happening all around me? Why are things disintegrating? You have to have faith in the fact that you have set your life up properly. And if you don't feel that way, now you get the chance to revise it anyway. The point is that you have the talent. The ingredients you can rustle up. You see what I'm saying? But you know what to do. That's the most important part. You know who you are and you know what you want. I find that the people that are the most difficult to commiserate with, the people that are the most difficult to help, are the people who don't know what they want. Virgo knows what Virgo wants, but they're not always very open about saying it. You can be timid about it because you don't want people to judge you. Well, I want this thing, but I don't know how people are going to think of me if I say this. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Don't take anybody's advice. Get in a room by yourself for a few hours a day. meditate, connect with your spirituality, get a journal specifically for this purpose. I'm calling this video the self cycle, right? Maybe there are some of you who want to transfer everything you've been doing to an online forum. Maybe there are some of you who want to completely redo your career. You want to take a completely different direction. Maybe there are some of you who just can't be in that relationship anymore. So for those of you who are cross-watching for a Virgo that you're interested in, I'm so sorry, but they have no time for you. They don't. It's nothing personal. It's not that they don't like you. It's not even that they don't love you. It's just that if you push them right now, they will leave you. The only partner that Virgo needs right now is a supportive, silent partner. Be quiet. Let them have this time. They're too stressed with what they're going through to care about how you feel about what they're going through. And they're going to end up thinking that you're extremely selfish if you don't cut it out. So there's that. And they're not going to say it as nice as I'm being. I'm actually being very nice. They're going to lay into you if you don't give them time alone. And you have to understand that even if you think that they're being self-centered, and Virgo, if you feel bad for being self-centered, don't. Your life needs an overhaul. This has been coming for a long time. You have not been happy. You have not been content. You have been, in many respects, treading water for a while now. So whatever that Tower moment was, whatever that Five of Pentacles moment was, be grateful for it. Be grateful that it happened and you're no longer stagnant and complacent. Sure, everybody's going to have to take a back seat for a second, but let me clue you in on something. If they love you, they won't have a problem doing that. The only people that have a problem giving you space are people who are selfish and care about you more than they care about them. Care about them, but more than they care about you. And if that's the case, they don't need to be around you, because the way that you reciprocate love, the way your love language is action. If they can't reciprocate that, if they can't also with their actions show you they love you, i.e. leave you the fuck alone, leave them alone. Because this is not a time for you to be worried about people's feelings. However they want to feel about the fact that you need to focus on yourself is however they need to feel. It's not your responsibility to make them feel good about what you need to do with your life. You need to restructure. For that, you need time to think. Virgos, when they need to think, they need to be alone. They need to not be, tied or plugged into 10 different people or 10 different things, or a needy relationship or a needy friendship. No, you need some freedom. Now, those of you who are on a bit of a toxic path may take that freedom. Remember, this is also the card of illicit affairs. May take that need for freedom to the left a little bit and decide that this means that you should have an affair, sleep with somebody at work, go behind somebody's back, gossip. No, that's not freedom. That's just ruining your karma. What you actually want to do is you want to channel that need for freedom into a space that will actually help you, which means being able, you're the only sign that will cheat on someone or have an affair before you have the guts to say to somebody's face, leave me alone for a little bit, I need some space. Not saying that you guys all do this, because the Virgos I know are extremely loyal. I'm just saying there are certain things that are considered pretty terrible that you would rather engage in than actually being honest and claiming your space and claiming your time. If you're around people who don't know how to hold space for you when something is really wrong and you need to focus on yourself, then you've really got to think about last month's reading. You were always there for people. There were so many comments in last month's reading where you guys were crying. And it really struck me that something so honest, something that's so accurate and true about you, that you are really incredible friends, would make you weep so much. And I realized nobody tells you. Nobody tells you. Nobody takes the time to be like, yo, you're amazing. Thank you for everything that you do for me. I don't know what I would do without you. It's not like you're asking for a lot. It's not like I gave you guys something. I just acknowledged something that was true. And it was so moving and so needed and so healing for you because nobody tells you. I mean, that's the simplest thing in the world to do, is just say thank you to someone and acknowledge what they do. And even that is in such low stock. So here we are. And now, after last month's reading, you must realize how much you do for others, even if you didn't before. Now you must see that others also see that you do a lot. So isn't it okay to take a little time for yourself? Isn't it okay to say for a month, I don't care about love right now. I don't want to think about this. Just give me some space. Because if you don't get space, you're going to turn into the version of you that people who misread you, misjudge you, walk around with in their heads. The Virgo that's overly critical, nitpicky, moody, mean. But that's not who you are. That's just how you get when you're caged. Any animal, when it's caged, becomes ferocious. Your way of being ferocious just happens to be with your words and your criticism, because that's your superpower. But you wouldn't behave that way if you didn't feel confined. Now add to that these tower moments where you're like, I don't know why my life seems to be falling apart. And then someone tries to put you in a cage when you actually need to run around and do stuff and figure stuff out. Oh, I feel bad for that person already. Whoever you are out there that you think that this is the time to like get the Virgo to commit, get the Virgo to move in, get the Virgo to talk about their feelings, do yourself a favor and just take a seat. Take several seats and stay in them. Because again, I'm being super nice. I'm being very kind. They're not going to be, because they are, and they're never going to tell you this, but I sensed it in last month's reading. I sensed it in the comments from last month's reading. Virgos are tired. They've given so much of themselves, either to a relationship, a job, a friendship, and the result they've gotten is this tower moment. And they're tired and they need to recalibrate and figure out, did I do something wrong? I can make this easier for you. No, you didn't do anything wrong. You did everything right, like you always do. But that doesn't mean that things don't fall apart. You did everything right for the time you were in then. That foundation and that structure, it worked for where you were then, but it's not where you are now. You see what I'm saying? So it's okay. You don't need to go back and judge that. You don't need to be mad at yourself. You don't need to be in any way critical of yourself. Use your powers of critical thinking now to plan a perfect new future, not to beat yourself up and not to beat other people up unless they don't go away and then they're annoying. If they're annoying, then have at it. I love you so much. Let's look at these cards. Virgo, welcome to the second part of your reading. All right, now that you can see the cards, it's pretty obvious. The Tower moment and the Five of Pentacles hit hard. The Five of Pentacles being a result of that Tower moment. So something happened that really rocked your world, either financially, emotionally, could be the loss of a friendship, could be the loss of a loved one, the loss of a job. Regardless of what it was, it made you feel left out in the cold. Made you feel like maybe the universe didn't have your back. For some of you, it's been a successive slew of tower moments. Things that you really didn't want anyone to know, things that you really didn't want to happen, just one by one kept happening. And now you're wondering, is it over? Yeah, it's over. It's over. But it's just beginning. So the thing about laying down a new foundation is that you're going to bump right up against the things that need to be changed and fixed and talked through. Some of that is, of course, going to entail confronting parts of yourself, confronting parts of others, and having conversations that are very uncomfortable. When you're having conversations about responsibility and who's responsible for what and who should have and should do what you have to do, what you should have done, try to keep these conversations as much in the present tense as you can. You can assign new responsibilities without harping on how it was before. All you're going to do if you delve into the past is alienate people and make them resent you. So we don't want to do that. By the same token, people are hell-bent on alienating you and making you resent them by asking you to pay attention to things that are just not important to you right now at all. And it is a true test. A Virgo told me that once. It's a true test of how much a person loves you when you tell them that you need time and space, and they either give it to you or don't. Because if they don't love you, they won't be able to stomach giving you that time, because they want from you and they want to just keep taking. They don't care what you need. If someone can sacrifice what they want, in this case being around you, for your sake, so you can get done what you need to do, it's not because you're moving away from them in any capacity. It's you're only moving away from them when they pressure you. And the reason you're doing it is because subconsciously you know that they care more about them than you. It may be posed as love, it may be pretending to be love. But if they can't honor the simplest of requests, hey, I just need a little time, a little space, then do they really love you? Like I've told you before, my guy best friend always says that love is a verb. Love is something you do, not something that you say and not something you just feel. That feeling can prompt you to do things that then are considered love. And I think that fits perfectly for you, especially right now. But kind of always, right? That's also, he's a Capricorn, you guys are earth sign. It's a very earthy love language to do for someone. Now, when it comes to this tower moment, however it happened, there is some sadness, some resentment, some anger that you have bottled up about it, because you feel like you were unfairly put in a position that, there was nothing to be done about it, and it's just not your fault. And how come you ended up there anyway? And in some other cases, or also, right, because some of you have had a few tower moments, there's also this feeling of, hey, I brought so much to the table and you took it, and now you don't want me. So you may have some choice words for some people, or you may find yourself towards the middle of the month being very, very, very harsh with your words, which can cause a slew of arguments. And all that will do is drain you, divert your focus, and ultimately cost you the beautiful beginnings of something new. So don't nitpick and don't criticize. And if you have resentment for how you've been treated, find a way to channel it so you're not yelling at people and you're not holding resentment in your heart. Maybe you want to journal about it. Maybe you want to start meditating. Maybe you want to take up some sort of a sport, schooling, anything that will add to your self-esteem and get you out of the mindset of, I can't believe they did this to me. Was it right? No, absolutely not. It wasn't right. Is you harping on it going to do anything? No. Well, yes, it will bring a lot of confusion and anger and pain and just an overall level of tension to your life that you don't need. Now, this is not to say that you don't tell people that you need space and that they need to give it to you, because if that's what you guys end up fighting about, someone just doesn't want to listen and wants to keep taking, and you need to tell them in a way that they will understand, hey, I mean it, stop. Well, then that Five of Wands is something that they should do. Excuse me. Just gonna drink some water.
I suggest you do the same. That's something they're going to do regardless of what you say or don't say. So if it turns into a bit of an argument because you're just setting down very clear boundaries to protect yourself and also so you have some space so you can make these adjustments and you can begin again, then let them fight. Let them fight, but don't fight with them. Let them fight with themselves. Say what you have to say and ghost. No need to stick around for that argument because it's going to be bullshit anyway. Anything they say can be translated into, I don't care about you, I just care about myself. And that is exactly the type of person that you need to stop attracting and stop giving into, stop feeling sorry for. Okay, moving on, Temperance. Temperance and the Lovers. So there are the eclipses right there in front of you, and they jumpstart something very interesting in you. You really are ready. Mercury being, I'm pretty sure, your planet of work. And now this lunar eclipse is that last straw where your mind and your body say, okay, you know what? I don't want to make money like this anymore. I want to do something I love. I want to do something different. I want it to mean something. And the solar eclipse in Sagittarius says, okay, how about this? So for the next few days of November and the first 2 weeks of December, go into hermit mode. Give yourself as much time as you need to. And as the bottom of the deck is telling you very clearly, focus on yourself. You deserve to focus on yourself. You need to focus on yourself. And it is the only way out of what you consider now to be a hole. It's the only way. And it's a good thing to learn anyway. Treat yourself like you would a friend. If you can't find any other way to be nice to yourself. Some people, for example, will ask, how do I love myself? I don't know how to love myself. I don't know what that means. And I often reply, if you had a version of you that was 5 years old and lived with you, how would you treat them? Would you go hours and hours without seeing the sun? Would you go a day without eating? Would you sit them in front of the TV and forget about them? What if they asked you for something? What if they really wanted to go to the park or the museum or to draw or paint or write or be alone? Would you honor those requests? Because if you don't know how to treat yourself well, you do at least know how to treat a small child well. The point being that internally, your subconscious, the one that controls everything, has power over everything, knows everything, can really mold this simulation to what it wants. That subconscious is about 5 years old. And right now, those tower moments in that Five of Pentacles is really, really messing with that child. That child is scared. And so what you have to do now is you have to be that grown-up who takes care of that child and gives it what it needs. So even if you can't do it for you, see yourself as that child, or in your case, the way I started this train of thought was, you're a really good friend. We discussed this last month. Treat yourself like your friend. What would you do for you? Because I guarantee you, anything you come up with that you would do for you, you really, really need it. Not because everything isn't going to be okay. Of course it's going to be okay. But in the interim, the sadness, the fear, the terror, it's a lot. And it doesn't have to be. A big part of this is knowing when to cut your losses and knowing when to move along and not harboring any sort of anger about what has happened before or what happened just recently. Let it go and move forward. I know there's a lot of resentment tied to it. And like I said, you're in the right, but it's not going to help anything. Push through December until you get to Temperance and the Lovers, and you'll see what I mean. Okay? I love, love, love you guys. We are going to get into the extended reading right now. Shuffle through and see what the cards have to say, clarifying the cards that are already out, and then we shuffle for some outcome cards. If you would like a recorded 7 to 10 minute personal reading, there's a Cameo link below. If you would like a one-on-one video chat reading, those are done every Tuesday and there's only 4 slots available. There is a Chatalize link below. The extended is available instantly, sent to your inbox, or through Vimeo. Both of those links are below. My best friend and I, that I told you about last month, the Virgo, we're having an online satsang, which is like an online hangout where you can ask us questions. It is going to be on 12/12, and there are a few tickets still available. I will link you to that as well. And then there is the Capricorn full moon satsang, which I will link the tickets to as well. Yay! Last but not least, if you are admiring my rings, then I would like to tell you about Quietest Revolution rings. This is a company I started with my Virgo best friend, Carolina. This is the High Priestess, and this is the Empress. Both of these are available to view on our Quietest Revolution rings Instagram, where you'll find many RevFam wearing the rings, and they're awesome. And there's also a link to buy. So, I hope you have a really, really good holiday season. Remember not to let all of this get on top of you. You're going to be just fine. Actually, the reality is you're going to be way better than you have in a long time. I know it doesn't seem like that right now, but you will. And it will be great. And you will be okay. All right? I love you, love you, love you. I'll see you in the extended right now.